I'm tactically frugal.
I can tell that. We call that cheap.
Tactically frugal is what I call it. Yeah, so, I mean, I got all these guys off Craigslist.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You trust people that much?
Dude, I carry a gun.
Oh, okay.
Before we start today's show, please visit the sponsors, affiliates, and friends of the Stagecoach.
The Square Reviews, brutally honest product and travel reviews for red-blooded Americans by red-blooded Americans. Visit them at thesquarereviews.com.
TheGunFood.com has an extensive network of partners to connect you with your guns, ammunition, and firearm training. The Gun Food only sells ammo that they trust. Use RSWC as a discount code and save 5.56% on your order at thegunfood.com. PowerTac flashlights have combined premium craftsmanship, American ingenuity, and cutting-edge technology, creating a highly dependable tool that you can trust your life with. Go to powertac.com/RSWC and save 15% on your order. That's powertac.com/RSWC. Sabre Pepper Spray has been making grown men cry since 1975. Find the link in the show description and help get the Stagecoach across America with every Sabre Red purchase you make.
Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to say thank you guys all for tuning in and watching the show. If you are new to the YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because that way you know, and you'll find out when we put shows out. If you enjoy the show, please share it with your friend, because this is how we get the Stagecoach across America. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today, we are coming to you from Voorhees Township, New Jersey, which is where neither one of us are from. And I have with me Lucretia Hughes, Kluken. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You have one of the most amazing stories, one of the craziest stories, right?
Yeah, because my life has not been easy.
It is not. So you've recently had a couple deaths in the family, which we're not going to talk about.
Right.
But you're one of the you're in the Women for Gun Rights.
Yes.
Formerly known as the DC Project.
I love it.
I think I'm lost in the parking lot already.
Great food in there.
At the hotel? At the diner?
Right there at the diner. Well worth it.
All right. Well, there we go. If you're at the hotel, if you're at the Hampton Inn in Philly, Voorhees, come on down to the diner in front of the hotel and get something good to eat. All right. Let's talk about you.
What you want to know about?
I want to know everything. How did you become a gun gal? You said you grew up in...
I grew up in a little small town called Lula, Georgia, Gainesville, Georgia, Commerce, Jefferson, small country places. So I've always been in the country.
Mhm.
And I had 9 brothers and sisters. So
Wow.
my father, we lived on a junkyard. He taught them, he taught the girls. So sitting on the back porch with a BB gun or a shotgun,
Yeah.
killing deer. If the boys can do it, the girls are going to do it too. So I was pretty
That's
much
cool.
a tomboy all my life. So
Yeah.
I don't know any other way.
Right.
So I was raised by 3 very militant fathers. I had 3 fathers I was blessed with.
Yeah.
So one was actually one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party of the 1970s in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. My
Wow.
other father, he was Navy, Vietnam, and my father that just passed away, Jimmy, he was in Panama Canal, which was Vietnam. So I was raised by some strong men.
Damn.
I didn't have a choice. And plus, I'm a tom girl, always been. Even
That's
though
a-
I had 4 kids before I was 20. Somehow, to be a tom girl, I like boys.
So being a tomboy is nothing. It's nothing to do with being a boy, other than doing boy things,
doing
right?
boy things,
Right.
other than what girly girls like my older sister would never do.
Yeah.
And I would help drop a motor or change oil,
Oh my gosh.
or just shooting or hunting. That's what I used to love to do. And my grandmother and grandfather from Commerce, Georgia, Pendergrass, they was the very first interracial couple of that area of that time. So I grew up in that type of environment. So I didn't have no choice.
Gotcha. I hate interviewing women that are more manly than me. I got to tell you.
I like to throw hands, but
So here's my story. When I was in high school, I did an introduction into industrial arts. I had no idea what it was, but it was wood shop, metal shop, auto shop, and drafting.
Yes.
And I went to the auto shop class, 9 weeks of auto shop. We had to bring in an engine, like a lawnmower that didn't work. We had to take it apart and put it back together and get it running, obviously. And I brought in a lawnmower that didn't work. And 9 weeks later, I brought it out in a box.
In pieces.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what?
I hope you got an A.
Yeah, no. That's when I realized maybe that's not for me.
You should have went to home economics. I mean, that would have been for you.
That would have been, but that probably wouldn't have worked out either. I wanted to be a musician, so.
And you and you just told me a little bit about yours. You have a life you live too.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun, pretty cool. It's not so bad. Anyway.
We're blessed now. Look at the environment we're in. I mean, the people that we associate with, the Women for Gun Rights, the DC Project. I'm part of the NRA, and I'm getting ready to run for the board of directors. So that is exactly where I met Diana Mueller, is because the NRA convention happened to be in Atlanta one year. And I was invited by a guy to go there. And my stepfather had just passed away, Papa Scott, and I wasn't going to go. Because I thought I needed to be there with my family. But my cousin, the only one that really believed in what I believed in, she said, you better get there because Papa Scott would have wanted and expected you to be there. So there was this one photographer walking around just snapping pictures. I'm there by myself around all these people. And I was just talking to people, walking up and shaking their hand. He walked up to me. He said, who are you? I said, no one. I said, I'm just a small town girl, lives a couple of counties over. He said, no. He said, I've watched you talk to everyone in this room. Who are you?
Wow.
And I said, my name is Lucretia. He said, I'll give you $5 if you go talk to that short man over there. Well, not at that time, not knowing who Wayne LaPierre was.
Oh my goodness.
So I walked straight up to Wayne. I waited my turn very, very professionally.
Yeah.
And I just started telling him my story. And within 2 minutes in, he said, anybody got a pen? And he wrote his personal phone number down.
Wow.
6 months later, he called me. He said, what are you getting ready to do? He said, we know where you at right now. How you know where I'm at? He said, we know what's going on in your life right now. Do you need me to send protection for you? No, sir. He said, what are you doing next week? I said, I have no idea. He said, you'll be in Texas. He said, all expense paid. So I'm giddy as a jaybird. Get out there. People start walking up to me, shaking my hand for no apparent reason. They was like, congratulations. The very first person I met was Alan West. He said, congratulations. For what? You're the new nominating committee. Excuse you? What is that? He said, you nominate the board of directors for the board of directors for the NRA. So my pick was Mark Robinson and Dean Cain.
Oh, yeah.
And Dean Cain. I said, you mean Superman? I get to put Superman on the board of directors. You mean I get to put that black guy that got up there at the city council and gave them a piece of their mind? That's my choice. I get to pick these people. And I picked those two to be on the board of directors. And next year, I'm going to run for the board.
Boom. What do we need to do to get you in?
I have no idea.
We'll have to talk to Amanda.
Look, I tried politicking. I ran for state representative against the fourth most powerful person in the state of Georgia, only because Brian Kemp thought it was a great idea at that time. I didn't know the power structure was inside the Republican Party. But I can tell you, I wasn't the one they wanted.
Really?
Why? Because I don't bow down and I won't kiss no ring. And so I started calling them to the carpet and been calling them to the carpet ever since.
Jeez, that's awesome.
People are like, are you scared? Yeah, I am when I find out who these people truly are.
Right. Somebody needs to call these people to the carpet.
Well, God told us to witness. And that's part of witnessing.
Yeah.
That's part of getting out there. And when we know that these people are detriment not only to my grandchildren, but to your future also and your generations to come, we got to put a stop to that. Or we need to raise our children in the way they should go. They may depart, but sooner or later they'll pick back up their Glock.
Mm.
Because right now, all children are being scared that guns are bad. No,
Yeah.
it's the people behind the guns that are bad.
It is, and what boggles my mind is when you talk to people that seem educated and seem smart and they don't get this. You're like, dude, how could you be such an
Because
idiot?
everybody think having book smarts mean nothing. I would rather deal with a person that has common sense and street smarts, not book smarts, before I believe in anybody with book smarts. Because look at what's going on in the world. Everybody is worrying about what the scientists or the experts got to say. I don't think they could pull anything out the crack of their ass without somebody telling them what to say. So scientists and experts mean nothing to me. Have
Yeah.
you lived that life? If you have not lived that life, don't come here and try to tell me how to live mine.
Nice.
Maybe that's 49 years of bullshit that I've had to deal with, but someone trying to tell me how to live my life and they don't know my life cannot compare my life.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, sir.
Damn, I love this.
You're going to have to edit a lot of this.
I'm not editing a thing. I like to tell people the only thing that hits the editing room floor are my feet. That's it. That is it.
I don't know. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of being around Amanda and Diana. I learned to stop beating up on myself because no one's perfect. I
Yeah.
learned to give people a second chance, but never a third. And I learned to trust women, especially this women organization, because I didn't a long time. So that's what I've learned. I've learned to pick back up a handgun. I learned that it does not matter where you came from. It's where you plan on going that's really going to make a matter. And matter makes a difference in life.
Very cool. All right, so let's get back to that. So you used to shoot. Your dad taught you to shoot when you were young.
Yes.
Where did things go from there, being a gun gal?
I went to the hood.
Okay.
I went the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I went where I wasn't supposed to go. And I just started smelling my own ass cheeks. You know how your parents want to be strict? They were strict for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had my first child at the age of 15, you think I would pick up and know some better. No, I had 3 more by the time I was 20. But by that time, I'm living in the projects. I'm living in the hoods. I'm living in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And my life was not going the way I wanted it to go.
Right.
And the only people who was going to make a change would have to be me. But
Yeah.
I thought being a part of a gang or that thug life or the street life was the way to go. Because I wanted that at that time. But when you start going to funeral after funeral after funeral, and you go to 18 different funerals of young black men within a 2-year span, some got to give.
Yeah,
Something
for
has
sure.
to stop. And the very last funeral I went to was my boyfriend at that time. He died in a drive-by shooting.
Oh my God.
And I had to grow up because my children was looking at me. And if I wasn't raised in a hood, why would I give them not that opportunity to be raised the right way and not dipping and dodging by gunfire or drugs on the street corner? If I didn't live that way, then it's time for me to get my children out of there before there'd be a whole nother generational curse that I won't be able to break. So I had to break that generational curse. I broke it by marrying someone I didn't love. That was my biggest mistake. But it did give me the opportunity to get myself back to Georgia, back to my family, and grow the hell up. And that was what made me get back in school, work 2 and 3 jobs, work for the federal pen. And you start seeing a lot. You can see the street life, and then you see the jail life, and then you see the graveside and the graveyard. What are you going to do? Are you going to let your life be cut short by following the wrong people? Or are you going to listen to what your grandparents told you, what your parents told you, and get back on the right path? And it took a long dang old time, and I'm still trying to get there. And I'm so glad you met my husband a while ago. A lot of people don't know he's a white man, but he found something in me that he said it was love at first sight. And I'm looking at him, and I had to wipe the coal out of my eyes. What you see in me that I don't see in myself, and how can you immediately love someone you never met? He just saw me on a video.
Wow.
And because he was making t-shirts at that time,
Yeah.
I had just started my podcast, my own show, and I needed t-shirts. And before I agreed to deal with anyone, because so many people have told me that I need to be prim and proper. I need to stop being so ghetto fabulous. I need to change the way I talk, the way I walk, how I dress. And he didn't. He accepted me for who I was before he met me. And then he didn't tell me he was madly in love with me until after we was married. He was like, I fell in love with you off your video. I said, I had a wife beater on and a do-rag. He said, but you was you.
That's wild. So where did you, not that, I've said this a bunch of times on the show. I asked my mom when I was a teenager, I asked my mother 2 questions. Are we Democrats or Republicans? And what's our heritage?
I'm black. Of course I was a Democrat.
All right.
I was no. Let's go ahead and take that back now. Because you're black, you're supposed to be a Democrat.
Right.
So when you're in school, when you're growing up, they automatically tells you to vote for a Democrat. They don't tell you to do your research. They don't tell you to listen to these people. They don't tell you to go in there and vet these people. I'm voting for them just because I'm a black woman who was demanded to vote Democrats. I'm voting against my own best interest.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until I grew up. And I started getting into politics, and I became the leader of the Tea Party group down there in Georgia. And I went up to Washington, D.C. in a Pontiac Grand Am one way by myself when the bikers, the veterans, and the truckers went up to Washington. That is when I said it's either now or never. Either I'm going to continue hiding or I'm going to step out there on faith. And my mom, who is a blue dog Democrat, helped me paint my car. And I was in that caravan going up 85 with everybody on the overpass just waving flags. I cried all the way there. Now, let me tell you what I got there. I got there at night. If you've never been to Washington, D.C., don't ever go to Washington, D.C. at night because you'll get lost. There's a whole bunch of one-way streets.
A bunch.
I went down the wrong way street. I got pulled over by a cop, black man. I had a gun sitting on the passenger side. He said, why you here? He said, you know you're not supposed to have that. He said, where you from besides Georgia? I said, I said, Wanda. He said, I'm from Athens. You from Commerce, aren't you? He said, you look like some people I know. He said, follow me, get your tail back on 95, get home, and don't come back until you know what you're doing. You know, he could have, after the fact, now that I know.
That you had a gun?
I had a gun. A loaded gun on the front seat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That black man did not arrest me, and he could have. Because you're not supposed to have anything in Washington.
Nothing.
And I'm up there by myself in the middle of the night.
Damn.
You drive 13 hours one way, turn around and drive 13 hours back. I was shaking as I'm getting out of the car.
Oh, sure.
But that man saved my life, because if anybody else, if God would allow any other police officer to pull me over that night going down a one-way street, I'd have been locked up in jail.
Yeah.
That God opens and he reveals and he steps in at the right path. I didn't know it then, but as I'm talking to you now, it's hitting me even more of how blessed I was that night in Washington, D.C.
No kidding. Did your politics change?
Yeah.
They did. Okay. Do you know who Star Parker is?
Yes, I do. I met her at the Faith and Freedom in Washington, D.C. last year. And I immediately ran up to her and gave her the biggest hug I possibly could.
That's awesome.
She said, I watch you. You watch me? She said, you're hilarious. I said, you were my hero.
It's nuts. So here's how I ended up learning about Star Parker. When I became a new gun guy, I used to spend a lot of time listening to Ted Nugent. And he used the phrase pimps, whores, and welfare brats. And he used it all the time. At this particular time in the early 2000s, he was all the time talking about pimps, whores, and welfare brats. And I ended up Googling it before it was Google, whatever it was before.
So I'm a welfare brat.
Yes, you are? I'm not asking.
Welfare.
All right.
I was on every government. I was in the projects, 4 kids. Come on now. What didn't I? What now?
Right. No kidding.
Okay, let's say this about food stamps welfare. That's the step up to get you to the plateau that you need.
Yeah.
Not something that you stay on for eternity and not your generations to come. That is when it's a crutch. That is when it's a problem. But if you're having a hard time in life, that's where those subsidies actually come into play. Not to stay on it for the rest of your life. That is how you trap generations of people to do your bidding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I ended up looking up this Pimp, Whores, and Welfare Brats, and I found out there was a book. And it was Star Parker's book. So I ended up finding her book at the library, reading it. And she went from being I think she had kids when she was young. She was a black woman, had kids when she was young, ended up getting hooked on drugs, being a prostitute for a while. And then something changed for her and her politics changed. And
Well, I wasn't a prostitute. I was giving my tush up for free.
Okay.
To the wrong people, okay?
Right.
To the wrong men. Because you got to think, at that time, that's what you think love is. That's not love.
It's not. It's definitely not. But you don't know this when you're young.
No.
Yeah, you think it is when you're young, but it's not.
Ooh, your audience going to be like, who that ghetto chick is?
I love it, man. I love it. This is good stuff. So, you got more involved in the gun community. You had a horrible tragedy happen to your son.
Whew,
So-
April the 2nd, 2016, got a phone call at 11 o'clock. I just reverted in my mind. I'm going back to that scene. I got a phone call, and my ex-husband at that time was on the other side of the house, and he let out a soul-piercing scream. And all I remember him saying, he is gone, he is gone. And Emmanuel was shot at a Domino's table, because now that I'm looking back, hindsight 2020, the week before,
Hold on. Domino's, playing dominoes?
Yes, playing dominoes.
Okay.
He was part of a gang. And if anybody know about gang initiations, it's called being jumped in. That means all your gang folks start beating up on you just to see if you're tough enough to last so you can be initiated to the gang. Well, I guess man thought that was enough for beating up on that boy. So he stopped the fight. That's a no-no.
Wow.
You never stop a fight. So him and the leader of the gang got into a big fight. He got his ass whooped, got his ass stomped. So the next following week, that boy, that man, because he's a man, he was 20 years old. He let Satan indwell in him. He came to the house party, asked my son to come outside. My son refused. He walked straight in, put a bullet right in the back of his head, and did nobody say nothing for 2 solid weeks. Because,
Wow.
you can't snitch.
Right. Just get stitches.
Yes. So that guy was on the run in New York City. He ran to New York. And the next thing that I realized, a lot of man's friends started calling this boy out online. And they gave him the opportunity, either you turn yourself in or we'll take care of you ourselves. And he turned himself
Wow.
in. They gave him 25 years.
Damn.
And I don't feel no remorse. I don't feel no pity for him. My heart, I guess, hasn't healed yet. But I hope he rot in hell. He can rot in
Absolutely.
hell. Because the
Absolutely.
last time I saw him on Facebook, how in the world are you throwing up gang signs behind jail, behind prison, and you think it's still ha-ha funny? You didn't learn your lesson.
You did not. This is the thing. So the people, the criminals, if they can turn their life around, then the system is working, right? But if they don't turn their life around, it's not working.
I worked at the federal pen for 10 years in the medical department. So I've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the only thing that the prisoners don't have is freedom. They get more stuff. If you really look at the health, the medical, the food, 3 hots and a cot, when everybody out here in the real world have to really struggle to feed themselves nowadays, it's guaranteed for them.
Yeah.
So I looked at it. And then, like I said, once I left the prison system, it was right after 9/11. I was fired because, I lost my ID. That's one of the biggest no-nos. It's a security breach.
Okay.
So I reverted from going to a penitentiary to a hospital. That was the biggest adjustment in my life. I just got tired of looking at death.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of death.
Yeah.
Whether it's from long-term sicknesses, dropping suddenly, or just dying. I know God places where we need to be, but some of that take a toll on you.
Sure.
And when you're seeing stuff that you're not supposed to see, you're feeling stuff that you're not supposed to feel, it was time for me to take my spirit woman out of that situation because it was starting to harden my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just one thing that was my final breaking point of working at the hospital is that I got off on the 4th floor at this hospital and I felt a wave of darkness crash over me. And I went up to the nurse's station and I said, did somebody just die on this floor? And she said, actually, yeah, it's across the hall from the room you're about to go into. I went to that room, looked in the room, and all I saw was a black solid mass. I walked back out that room, got the blood,
Mm-hmm.
turned it back into the lab, and I quit.
Wow.
No more. it's just no more.
Yeah, no more.
I was getting desensitized. And when you start seeing spirits and different things that you're not supposed to see, that was a little bit too close to home and creepy for me. I love taking care of the seniors and elders and people that really need it. Maybe that's why I just took care of my father in hospice at home.
Mm-hmm.
I was equipped to do it. But just seeing babies and elderly and young folks dying, I don't want that saturating my soul anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not. So you've took this this thing that happened to your son, this having your son murdered, and most people would think that you would end up becoming anti-gun, but you became very pro-gun.
Why? It wasn't the gun that did the killing. It was the thug behind the gun.
Right.
It was the evil black soul behind it. Anybody that picks up a gun without self-defense or without feeling themselves and commit a crime or commit murder, it's on that individual. Mm-hmm. And they need to take account of what they did. Not everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of our government and all these selfish human beings out here thinking that we are the problem when it's them that's the problem, not us.
Absolutely.
So no gun has ever, no inanimate object has ever jumped up in someone's hand and say, squeeze the trigger.
Right.
It takes the pound for pressure to squeeze that trigger and the hate in that person's heart to take someone's life. But I can tell you, if you're coming after me with any animosity, hate, harm, or danger, and I have one in my hand, I will drop you. It will be you before it's me.
Mm.
Plain and simple. Don't ever want to have that happen. I don't ever want to have to do it. But if push come to shove and it's my life over someone else's, or me protecting my loved ones or my friends or anything, I will do it. And I will take it up on Judgment Day when that time comes.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not be guilted from any libtard, any progressive, any Democrat, any rhino to tell me I don't have my God-given right to protect myself from every hate, harm, or danger. And that's why I'm thankful for the Women for Gun Rights DC Project and Diana for allowing me to testify in front of Congress, because instead of shouting at the television screen, y'all crazy, I actually got the opportunity to call them delusional to their face.
To their face. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Especially AOC, because I was bullseye looking at her.
Oh my goodness.
Only thing with Diana is she can let go of that lipstick that she want me to wear. I'll be good. She want me to gussy up so bad. I'm just not a gussying up type of woman. I like tennis shoes.
Yeah.
I like blue jeans. I like hoodies.
Mm.
I was raised that way.
Yeah.
It just takes too much effort to get cute for other people when you are right with yourself.
Well, I'm not that cute.
You're handsome. There's a difference.
But I don't like putting that time in either.
I don't either.
There's times I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not a woman. I don't have to
When
deal
you
with that
saw
crap.
me a while ago, broad daylight, I had a do-rag on. It's pretty much what I'm doing the majority of the day is wearing a do-rag.
Yeah.
Unless I have to do something or unless I'm getting ready for the show. I'll pull my hair down, but I won't put on makeup.
Yeah.
I don't own any, number one. You know how much that stuff costs?
Yeah, I have a daughter. I have an idea.
No, thank you. And plus, he likes me the way I am and my husband. So there's no use of gussying up for anybody else. I'm good.
Mm.
I'm going to slap on some lipstick tonight. And Diana bought me that tube of lipstick 2 years ago. She said, here, wear this. I'm going to wear it tonight. I got one tube of lipstick. And it was free.
Very cool. Very cool. So we're up here, by the time this comes out, obviously it's going to be too late, but we're up here in New Jersey for the CNJFO, Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners and the Women for Gun Rights fundraiser tonight.
Yes.
And you came up from Georgia. I came down from Massachusetts. Amanda Suffolk and Rob Campbell are here. They came from Ohio. Kelly Pigeon's going to be here. She came from Pennsylvania.
Lori's here.
Lori.
I showed her tonight. Do you know how important this is? It didn't hit me. I had to ask my husband. Because what I didn't understand is, like, is Diana pulling this money out of her pocket to get us all these women, over 50 women every year for a week to go to Washington, D.C. to advocate for the Second Amendment? Who's paying for this?
Right.
Well, this fundraiser is paying for this.
Yeah.
This is how they raise the funds to get all these women, you know, red, yellow, black, white, gay, straight, it don't matter. Democrats, it's nonpartisan. All these women to come together 1 week out of a year, talk to congressmen, senators, the whole nine for free,
Mm-hmm.
it's because this fundraiser tonight. So that's one of the key things I'm going to say in the speech. What the DC Project and the Women for Gun Rights, how they changed my life. And they changed my life for the better. They've given me opportunities that I never thought I would have a day in my life. And I just want to honor them because they've changed a lot of women's minds and hearts. And a lot of women are now wanting gun rights. They want to know more about gun training and everything to protect themselves.
Yeah.
It's not what you see on mainstream media or legacy media. That's a bunch of lies. They're liars.
Mm-hmm.
My mom owned a gun. My daughters own a gun. Her husband owned guns. So all of these narratives that you see pushed by the left wing and also some of the right too is hogwash.
Yeah.
And people are getting brainwashed from the truth. And we need to push back against that. And we need to get the truth out there, regardless if it's a small hand of people or millions of people. God don't tell us to knock people upside the head. He says witness. And if they don't want to hear what we got to say, you knock the dust off your feet, knock the dust off your shoulders, and you keep pushing to the next person that will welcome you with open arms. Not all this stuff that you see in people, because if you run up in my face, I'm going to lay hands. My fuse is that quick. And being a black conservative, a Republican, a Tea Party person, a Trumpster, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the death threats, me being called out my name, them calling, messaging my husband, if we ever see your wife, tell them to message me that. Why would they message you?
Yeah.
It sounds like something they did with Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband. Y'all went to him to threaten her life. Why don't you threaten us directly? Because you ain't finna win with us. We already standing toe-to-toe with you. So you're not going to push us over the edge and you're not going to make us back down. So you think you're getting our loved ones to be scared for us that's going to make us sit down. No, that's not. It's just going to piss me off.
Mm.
Mother.
I love it. I love it when I do shows when I'm like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Lucretia. And then I drive.
Every night, last night's show, the night before last, was 1,352. That means we've done 1,552 shows. We do
shows.
We do 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
from 5 to 7. We take articles from all around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and if it goes against God, family, country, or Trump, I'll rip your ass a new one. And I don't care if you're a Republican like Liz Cheney or ass Kissinger, all the way to the Barack Obama with his Logan Act, to Joe Biden with his forgetful self. If he trip and fall one more time, it'd probably be the end of the world as we know it. You might want to edit that one out. Let's go, bye.
Ooh. Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Tell us how you really feel about these
Right.
people.
Other than that, she has no strong feelings, ladies and gentlemen. When did you start the show? What is your show? When did you start it?
It's The Real News with Lucretia Hughes. We
I
started
love
it in a closet, believe it or not. And that's how we start. And all of a sudden, we are live, interactive.
Yeah.
Take questions. I don't get smart until the people that watch me get smart. So some of these people have been watching me from day one,
Mm-hmm.
and they open my eyes to the fall of cabal. They open my eyes to a lot of stuff that's going on in the news. They open my eyes to AI technology, nanobots, all the way to international issues. And it's people from every walk of life that watches our show. I don't call them followers. I call them family, because this family are the ones that made me grow. And remember this, family, which is blood, your blood clots. It'll kill you quicker. Let your love for strangers run freely.
Mm.
So, you ever watch the show and you in the chat rooms? I give shout outs. I open my show with people that are right there to let them know I'm watching you and you watching me. What you want to talk about tonight?
Mm.
And then I say, but you got to bring the receipts. Don't be talking out the crack of your ass. You need to bring me some articles so we can read it verbatim. I need to get the research. I need the patent. I need all of this before people trust us and know we're telling the truth. This is where you can find it. You read it for yourself to prove yourself. I don't need to prove you nothing. You need to prove it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say you got to bring me the articles. You better bring me where you found it so I can be smart just like you. So if this question ever could come back up, I can talk about it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And plus, I love to read. I don't watch television.
I cut out television a long time ago.
I do too.
When I got divorced about 12 years ago, and one of the things I did was I'm like, you know what? I only have my kids half the time. I'm not going to spend time watching TV. I'm cutting the cable. And the kids are like,
news in about 6 years, 6 solid. I got tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
I got tired of being lied to, and I'm sorry, I'm a grown woman. I know when someone's blowing smoke up my ass. So you ain't gonna keep lying to me.
You know what I've noticed? I've been in the hotel since last night, and I've been doing some work preparing for tonight. And I noticed on the television there are a lot of advertisements for TikTok. Now, I know TikTok's one of these things, and I know the government wants to ban TikTok because it's Chinese operative and all.
No, it's not.
All
It's
this
the one
crazy
that
stuff.
tells the truth the most and don't censor as much.
Well, that's interesting. And that's probably why the government wants us to get rid of it. But there's commercials on there that are talking about how TikTok helped raise money for for a veteran that, you know, whatever, down and out on his luck and so on and so forth. And TikTok was what putting his video out on TikTok is what ended up helping them raise some money, which I got
deplatformed. I got demonetized by Facebook, YouTube, because they said I'm a threat to the global community. Because of what I talk about, and I only talk about God, family, country, and Trump. And I never believed the scamdemic. So that's when I started getting shut down, is because I was getting information from Dr. Stella Emanuel. I was getting information from the frontline doctors, and I was going against the narrative. And you're not going to force, coerce, or persuade me to take something inside of my body that I don't have no idea about, especially being in the medical field, that you just came up with, and you don't have any peer review, you don't have any case studies, and you telling me it's a must and that no one would ever get it again. You're a bold-faced liar, and the truth ain't in y'all.
Yeah, it's nuts to me that they can tell us the long-term effects of something they just created.
They had no research.
Yeah,
so what is peer review? Peer review is when you take years and years and years of studying before you put it out there as a safe product. None of that was safe.
When my kids were doing peer review in high school, junior high and high school, they're like, "Oh, we're doing peer grading and peer review," and I'm like, "So your friends who don't know what they're doing are checking your work, which you don't know what you're doing?"
And then when you can't question the scientist or expert, I'm going to question you more.
Yeah.
I'm black. Everything in me is remembering what the hell y'all did to my ancestors. So you think I'm finna not remember what y'all did Tuskegee? Is just one big example of the federal government using medical research on the black community. And now you asking the black community to do it again? If you don't learn the lesson the first time around, you're bound to repeat it. Well, I ain't your monkey. I know y'all think black people are monkeys, but damn, I ain't that. So, nope, I didn't do it, didn't fall for it, and I told everybody on my show, do your own research.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of people, pretty much majority of the people on our show is still purebloods.
Nice.
And I'm a pureblood.
I did not do it either. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
My dad did. He took all 2 boosters and all 5. He took both first shots and all 5 boosters. And he's not with us today, and I watched him die 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was clean in October from all lab results. And then all of a sudden in March, you got turbo cancer that had metastasized all over your body. Somebody better make this make sense to me, because it's not. And now young folks are coming. It's just too much. Crimes against humanity is still a thing, but why is crimes against humanity, regardless if it's for our 2A, no matter if it's our voice, no matter if it's our bodies, then why are they allowed to create all this havoc and then not have any kind of repercussions about it? But they're gonna bust hell wide open. I truly believe that.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Adam Carolla. I don't know if you know who Adam Carolla is. I love Adam Carolla. He's been on a tear about this. I mean, he's always on a tear about anything. But one of the things he talked about is, he says, listen, you were wrong about all of the COVID stuff. You wanted people to take the shot. You made people, not go to funerals of people that passed away. You made people stay 6 feet apart. You made kids not go to school. And now you're going to push the next agenda on us. And we didn't believe you the last time. You were wrong about it. You won't admit you're wrong about it, but you're going to make people do whatever the next thing is. He's like, no way.
Yeah,
No
well,
way.
now remember, now you can loot and riot, pillage, burn down stores, get in the street during that time, but you couldn't go to church. I had a problem. Woo! That's
ridiculous.
It opened my eyes to a lot, but it got me banned a whole lot too.
Yeah.
If you think I was raw now, I was way raw during the summer of love. That was child. I was like, come on, run up in my house if you want to. I'm down in there at this point. And I'm a Trump supporter. Yep, I'm a black Trump supporter. And I'm proud to say it. Now, run up in my face. Let's play.
Right.
That's my whole stance at that time. Because they was allowing these people to attack anyone just because of your political beliefs. And everybody was trying to hide who they truly was so they wouldn't be degraded, downtrodden, lose their jobs, all this stuff. No, I was bold with mine. Come on out the woodwork, because I'm a whacker troll. I don't play with other human beings no more. Humans are dangerous. But like I said, I pray it never happen. But if it do, I'm not stupid enough to not know danger is afoot. And they hate people like us.
Yeah, I mean, they would hate you the most, a conservative black person? Are you
Most black people was conservative before Kennedy. MLK was a Republican. All of them was until then. So now we just reverting back. As you see across the board, people are turning back to God, family, and the country. And it doesn't matter who's there. Most people are sick of being lied to.
Yeah.
We grown folks. Treat us like we grown folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this. Oof. I love it when people get fired up.
This is my normal time.
She's not
This
even fired up.
normal for me.
Oh my
Normally,
God.
my husband would have came in with a song by then, and I'm sitting there, ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
Yes.
Ding,
So
ding, ding.
you'll hear a lot of song and me singing too on my show.
Nice. I've tuned in a couple times over the last few
Lord.
weeks. Yeah.
What you hear?
Well, I'm still getting in the car with you.
They be like, I watch you. I be like, I'm sorry. And you ask me why I turned down NBC. Do you see it in my spirit being on NBC? Be honest. You see me being on CNN.
It would be such a breath of fresh air. I think it. So I think this: if you were offered a job,
At
right?
NBC.
At NBC. If you would have taken it, it would have been a hot flash. Not a hot flash like you're menopausal, but it would have been a hot flash in the. I didn't say that.
Wow, sweat. I had a hot flash.
It would have been a hot flash in the pan. It would have been in and out quick.
Have you not seen any
up.
of the interviews I did after testifying in front of Congress? Each and every last one in the ABC interview, CBS interview, NBC interview, I cut them off and giving them the side eye. Who y'all think y'all talking to?
Nice.
Who you think you're talking to? You ain't finna leave this conversation. You ask me the question. I'm gonna finish saying what I gotta say. If you don't like it, fade me to black. And that would have probably been the whole entire thing. And then I was on the Roly Poly Martin show, and that didn't go good for them either.
The Roly Poly. Well, I don't know what's the Roly Poly Martin show.
It's just the Roland Martin show.
Okay.
He hates whites.
Oh, gotcha.
He hate white people so bad. I don't know how in the world he's still surviving. But I was on that show for 2 solid hours. And I showed it to all of my audience too. My mom said she had to turn it off 10 minutes in. She said, I don't know how you did it. She said, I said, Mama, go back and watch. I really did. And I told them they could fade it to black and take me off. I don't know who y'all think y'all talking to.
Jeez.
So I don't think that would, God know where I need to be. He really do. And it's not with them because I don't want a headache. I don't want to disrespect my mother. I just don't. And I know these people will push my buttons or say something so foul that I will snap on live television.
So this is the crazy thing. They will do this. We know this. Yeah, I mean, you're a wise woman for knowing this. But they'll just push your buttons to push your buttons. And to have you lose your cool and to,
I get high fives from everybody on my show, but probably get tisk from everybody on theirs.
Right. Yeah, they'll push your buttons and then they'll take a little sound clip and be like, look at what Lucretia said.
And I guess what? I wouldn't deny it either. I sure did. Now what you gonna do about it? Nothing? Not invite me back to your show? Or 2 tears in a bucket.
I love this.
I'm still wondering why Diana picked me. So yeah, she was in this car. She would have popped me in the back of my head. Stop saying that about yourself.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just rough. You know what? I want to hear well done. When all at the end of everything, I want to hear well done.
Yeah.
My good and faithful servant. That's it. And so I have to take account of everything I do, everything I say. And if people don't like me, tough titties. You ain't got a hell to put me in or a heaven to place me. And I have to be up there on Judgment Day. You're not going to hold my hand. No one else will. And I'm going to have to take account of everything that I said, everything I've ever done, everything I will do in the future. But I want to see my family members again, and I want to see Jesus. It's that simple. And I want to be there eternally. So I think this way. If I ain't got to deal with him for eternity, what the hell do you think I got to deal with him on earth?
Right.
We don't.
That's a good point.
So we get in where we fit in. If that's called talking to, that echo chamber, echo, because those are the same people we'll be talking to for eternity.
Right.
We ain't gonna, I'm sorry. It's just like Lazarus. We can't give you no water in hell. We'll never see you again. So stop giving me hell on earth. We've already been through enough. I'm 49 now. I just want to make sure that all of the stuff, the evilness, the mean stuff, the fighting, the person I used to be, I don't want to be that woman no more. I want to be that upright woman. I want to be somebody my grandchildren will remember and smile. And I want to make sure my name never get wiped out of the history books. And they never can, no matter what. That is what I want to do. And I don't want my grandchildren to ever have to go ask questions to anybody else before they can ask me first.
Right.
And if I can't point them in the right direction, that is when I say, go talk to this person because I trust their word, and their word is bond. And I want to make sure my word is bond, even if I am at the bottom of the totem pole economic wise, even if I'm a black woman in America, even if I'm a saved person, I want my word to be bond. And if I say I'm going to do it, bona fide for a fact, she's going to do it.
That's awesome.
Even if we never get paid for it. But I truly believe that one day, out of all the states I've been, at all the speeches I've ever given, one day somebody is going to look at me and my husband and say, you know what? I want to help y'all. You know what? We want to bless y'all. You know what? We want to continue to help you fight for your home, your property, and your future, and your show. And you don't have to sell your soul to do it. Because we know you are an upstanding and upright woman.
Yeah.
And God told us to bless you. That is what I'm looking forward to.
Very cool. Very cool.
And everybody else, if you don't like me, you can't beat me. And if you do beat my ass, I'm going to have some DNA underneath my nails either way. So you'll feel me.
Oh my God. All right. We need to wrap things up.
You're trying to kick me out the car.
I'm not. This battery died right here. I'm like, all right, we gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
So we're gonna pull over. How can people find you and all of the stuff that you are up to?
I am on Monday through Friday, The Real News with Lucretia Hughes, Monday through 5 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. And if not, just type my name in. I'm the black one.
Is there a white Lucretia Hughes?
Yes.
There is?
Yes, and y'all keep sending her my damn donations. That ain't right.
That's some bull.
That's not that. They be like, oh my God, I sent it to the wrong woman. It ain't like you gonna get your money back.
Yeah, that's too late.
So I keep saying, I'm the black one.
The black one.
Yeah.
How do you spell Lucretia?
Lucretia Hughes, Hughes, Kluken, Klucken.
All right. We're going to put links to all this stuff below. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
I greatly appreciate this. This has been awesome. Tonight's going to be great. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun.
Just remember this. I didn't write down anything. I just prayed about it and let God rip.
That's two of us. Okay, I didn't pray about it. I just going to let it rip. All right, listen, we got to get things going here. We're going to put links below to Lucretia's show and to all the things that she's up to. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, you can join at saf.org. There's going to be a link below. You can check out all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts at sdrn.us. And if you've made it this far, you need to make sure that you share the show with your friends, because that is how we get the stagecoach across America. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you soon.